All right, guys, thanks for joining today. I'm very happy, excited to have my friend, my buddy, my co-cook chef, Louis Picciano. Welcome, buddy. How's it going?
Not bad. You, Steve?
Very good, man. Very good. Thanks for joining today. So, Lou, what have you been doing to keep busy during these crazy times, during these
Yes.
quarantines, man?
Things around the house, cooking new things. Got to try and find any little thing you can do to keep yourself busy.
Yeah, man.
So it's what it is.
I see you got a fresh fade, man. Nice little cut.
Oh, yeah. AKA
Awesome,
the
man.
mom.
Oh, yeah?
Taking care of that. Oh, yeah, you know it, man. Come on.
I gave my wife to duty, and she was a little scared, so I don't know if you can see it.
You got the cover up, huh?
Yeah, I got the cover up, man. It's a disaster.
So you told me we had to have coffee, right?
Yeah, you got your coffee?
So I got a cold coffee, but
that's so good, bro. It's so good. Salud.
Cheers. Salud.
Cheers, buddy. So, Lou, give us a little background, where you're at right now, where you're working, what's going on. What's your story, buddy?
So, my name's Louis for short. I'm one of the cooks at Luciano Trattoria on Saint Zotique.
Yes.
And I've been there for almost 2 years now. And before that, I worked at Industria in the Galerie d'Anjou.
Yes.
And before that, I was at Pius, and that's how we met.
Yes, exactly, man.
That's how all this, friendship started. So that was a good time.
Crazy time. I remember the first day at Pius, because a buddy of mine, a friend of mine at the TD Bank, had said they heard I was going to culinary school. Like, oh yeah, my buddy Louis is going to be there too. So the second I walked in, I remember those tables in the cafeteria.
Exactly.
And I'm looking for Louis or Luigi. And the second I saw him, okay, he looks, he's Italian, guaranteed.
Yeah.
And I spotted
exactly how it was. You walked
Louis?
up to the table. Exactly. You Louis? You Steve? Yeah. Okay, we're friends now. Let's go.
Done. And then from there, I think we did our project together. We went to interview Jonathan Hello.
Yeah, exactly.
We had to do a project on that. That was awesome. And we brought, it's true. I forgot. Yeah, remember the project? We actually brought
exactly.
Porchetta. Holy shit.
Yeah, that was crazy.
We killed that presentation. Yeah, so anyway, we met at culinary school. So before we get into culinary school, there's so many stories that we can share. We're there for 15 months. So tell us now, what's happening with the restaurant, Luciano? You guys open, close? What's happening? What's the situation?
So I'm not working there at the moment. He's taking care of his little takeout thing on his own to make sure that we have a restaurant to go back to once all this is done, or this whole quarantine thing is done.
Yeah.
So the way he works is that Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, you place your order. He has a set menu every week, and he's not necessarily doing plates, but he's preparing the sauces in liter containers to purchase, lasagnas. He has gnocchis and 5 mushroom ravioli that are available too. And then Friday you pick up your order at his little takeout window that he had installed. And that's how he's trying to keep the restaurant afloat for the time being. And he's been very busy. I mean, from week to week, his orders keep doubling. So he's starting to have a bit of trouble keeping up. But it's good. He's keeping himself very busy.
And who's working there? Is it only him right now that's working?
Yeah, right now it's just him. Yeah, he's like I said, it'd be too expensive to have the whole staff there. I mean, we're not a lot. We're only 2 cooks, right? There's himself and 2 other cooks. Okay. But he's a very good boss, so we're paid very well. But unfortunately, in a situation like this, if the restaurant's not full, it's a bit too expensive to have us there.
Yes.
So he's taking it on by himself, like I said, to make sure we have a place to go back to after all this is done.
Wow. If you guys haven't been to Luciano, you definitely have to check it out. You can check out, like Louis said, the takeouts right now. Place your order Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then pick up Friday. It's incredible. I've been 3 or 4 times now, and every time the pasta, you have different options as well, some specials, but the 5 mushroom ravioli, out of this world. I had the lobster pasta last time.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, that was insane. What was that again? That was, I think, the squid ink pasta.
Yeah, it was the raviolis, though, right?
No, it was, I think, the spaghetti.
Okay, yeah. So it was the squid ink spaghetti with lobster, scallops.
Oof.
There was a spicy tomato sauce, or a tomato, I guess you can say, like a lobster bisque. fried green onions. It's just a really, really good, clean pasta. Not too obnoxious with spice.
Yeah.
Just very, very good.
Yeah.
A lot like the rest of the dishes on the menu. Nothing is too out there. It's really just refined and just done well.
Yeah, it's refined, it's authentic, everything's fresh, everything's homemade.
Yeah.
All homemade
Yeah.
pasta. I think you guys are your shopping at the Jean Talon Market.
A lot of the time, that's what Channel does. Yeah.
Awesome.
We go in to start doing prep, and he'll take off to the market, buy some things. If he sees something that he likes, that'll be the special for the night, and then he comes back to the restaurant, and we prepare that. Get
That's
ready
the
for service.
best. That's the best way to have that standard, that quality, and getting market fresh ingredients all the time, supporting local,
Yeah.
and you're just creating that circle, right? Everybody's supporting each other.
Yeah.
That's the way it
Exactly.
should be. Awesome, man. Awesome.
That's the dream for most cooks, right? You don't want to just prepare generic stuff. You want to prepare something that you can be very proud of, and that's exactly what Luciano encapsulates in his restaurant. So
And now,
it's
how
really
many
good.
years now has he been open there?
This would be his 5th year, although I don't know if you really want to count this as a year, but yeah, it's his 5th year that he's open at that location. Yeah, there.
Yeah.
He has had restaurants in the past, but now he's at this place and his name on the wall.
Awesome, man. Awesome. So, like you said before, it's a chef's dream, to cook that way. For you, Lou, what's that? I guess either that dish or memory, could be from like growing up, childhood. Like, take us to like what inspiration you get when you cook. Like, what drives you to create that dish, or like the.
Well, I guess the classic Italian story, right? You're cooking with your grandmother when you're a kid. Always instead of playing with Play-Doh, you're playing with actually cavatelli dough. That's kind of what started it all. I mean, we're exposed to food at such a young age, and it's that same mentality of fresh from the garden tomatoes turned into the sauce on Sunday, and then you're eating as a family. That's what it is for the majority of Italians, and that's my story. It's not any different than anybody else's, but it's something that I try and put in anything I cook. Just be true to the ingredients you're using, be true to yourself, and don't try and overcomplicate things. Keep it as simple as you can.
Love that, man.
But
Exactly.
it's not to say that I haven't tried to make things that are a bit out there and failed miserably, because I mean that's the only way you're gonna learn, right?
Speaking about that, I remember. I don't know if I wouldn't say a fail. It was still pretty cool what you did. We had in culinary school, we were on the dessert module, and hey, Lou, tell us what did you create for that dessert module? I don't know if you remember. It included a smoker.
Oh yeah, the smoked cheesecake. Yeah, hey man, I still think that can work.
Yeah.
I'm not against it. I just probably overly smoked it.
So
Was
explain what was the dessert? What was it in detail?
it was supposed to be a ricotta cheesecake with some kind of apple topping or garnish.
Yeah.
I got the smart idea to smoke it with applewood to cook it, and it cooked very well. I mean, you can't say that the
No,
texture wasn't good.
it was good.
It's just when you do a little test, it's a lot easier to make sure that it's cooked. So the test was pretty good because it didn't get overly smoked. But then when you're trying to cook 40, 50 of them at once, you need a lot more smoke, and unfortunately it tasted like you're eating a piece of charcoal. So hey, look, I still think it can work.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna try it again in the future, but
Yeah, man.
for now I'm gonna keep it hidden away.
Listen, man, I got to give it to you. It was innovative. It was out of the box. You blew up the box. Remember we said you blew up the box?
Yeah.
That was really cool,
That
man.
was
I think it could work, like you said. Just we toned down the smoke level.
yeah.
I think we had people coughing in the dining room
Yeah, I think so.
with the smoke inhalation. No, it was really.
You know what? I think it would have worked if I would have used the smoke gun instead of an
Yes.
actual like smoker, because
Yes.
that might have been a bit too intense.
Yeah.
It would have just added a bit of smoke and not.
But that's all that's what we had, right? We didn't have any.
Yeah, exactly.
That sophisticated equipment there. So, okay, wait. I want to go back. I want to go back to growing up in an Italian household. I love that.
Yeah.
So,
Go for it.
give me a typical day walking into Nanda's house. What was that? The smells, the feeling. What was on the stovetop? Like, what was happening?
Okay, well, I never went to daycare growing up. It was
Same.
always at one of the two grandmother's houses or grandparents' houses. And it was always the same thing. You walk in, grandparents still in their pajamas. The bread is out, the nice pagnota is out,
Oof.
the butter is out. So obviously a nice, couple slices of that pagnota, all
Oh,
nice and buttered up. Even at that age, 6 years old, espresso coffee, none of that percolated Canadian shit. And you just dip the bread inside, man. That was breakfast every day that we went to my grandparents' house. There's no question that was breakfast, and that's what we looked for. I still have that now, and that's an amazing breakfast. And then it depended on the day. You got some days that my grandmother felt like having steak for lunch or steak for supper, and we would have that with her hand cut fries. That was another thing she used to love doing. Was hand cut fries, no fryer, but fried in a pan.
Yeah.
With lard.
Yes.
I mean, that best fries ever.
Did they cure some sausages in lard as well?
I remember doing that like really, really way back at the beginning, but then once that vacuum sealer came around, that my grandparents picked that up right away. So yeah, at the beginning they used to do that, and the lard thing that always stuck around. I mean, there's another classic Italian thing. When it's time to do the sausages, you literally waste nothing, and there was no discussion about throwing that fat out. It had to be turned into lard because my grandmother had to make fries with it for us after. So that was something special.
How about the pizza? Did she make the white pizza with the bits of fat?
Yeah. It was always white, square, rectangle, thin, sometimes thicker pizza that was really crispy.
Everything was unlocked here. Everything was by eye. So.
Oh yeah. That a classic thing. Oh yeah, this much per person. Yeah, but my this much and your handful is not the same thing. How do you wanna measure?
It's okay.
Yeah, exactly.
They're the best, honestly. Oh man, good times. And the thing about the espresso, man, the same exact thing for me. Same thing.
Yeah,
5, 6 years old. We had like a massive glass, double this. She would just put milk and say, "No, it's okay. You have milk. You're good. You're good."
Yeah.
And then you have tantrums when you go back to your parents. You're losing your shit.
Yeah, exactly. Caffeine jitters, caffeine withdrawal too, man. Going crazy. Parents wondering, what the hell did you do during the day? Gonna give me espresso. What about again, growing up Italian, 6, 7 years old, and you still have the little glass of wine with the 7-Up inside?
Yeah.
The homemade wine with the 7-Up?
Yes.
In those classic glasses that every grandparent has, man.
Yeah,
it's
man.
Crazy.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. It's me 7-Up. Don't worry, buona, baby.
Yeah, exactly. Then you go tell your French Quebecer friends or your English friends or your other friends, oh yeah, I had wine when I was 6 years old. What? Alcohol. Yeah, that's normal. What's wrong with you? You're weird.
It's so true, man.
Yeah.
You're just preparing us for life, man. It gives us a little head start.
Yeah. That's why now, like wine is one of the best things ever, and because we're used to it.
It goes down like water, but
yeah.
And it's what they used to make the homemade wines, I guess, right?
Yeah, but again, it's like 40% alcohol. It's not a regular bottle of wine. So a couple of glasses of that, then ciao.
See you. Oh man,
yeah.
I miss those times so much. Looking back at it now, how fast like childhood went. It's insane, man. It's nuts.
What did you guys make? Like your staple things with your grandparents?
So many. So like my grandfather, so on my dad's side, this guy was a genius. Obviously, like your grandparents immigrated from Italy, started a family here, didn't speak the language, learned the English, learned French when he was working. Yeah. Amazing with his hands. The guy could, whatever idea he had, he used to visualize it, he used to make it. No YouTube, how do you do it yourself videos? None of that shit. So he would see something maybe at a store or at a shop and he'd say, okay, I'm going to make that. So he built in his garage, I would say at least, I don't know how many racks, maybe 20 racks along the wall, close to, let's say, for all his wine and champagne bottles. Okay. All custom made with the holes in it to hold the champagne bottle upside down when it used to ferment. Okay. Yeah. So champagne was huge. Okay. Massive champagne, like 1.5 liter bottles, like Magnum.
That's pretty rare to hear, huh? Because, a lot of Italians is wine, but wine, grappa, but champagne. Wow.
Yeah. He was nuts, man. He found his recipe and he used to kill it. Forget about the Asti, all that. We used to fucking pop bottles of champagne,
That's
6,
crazy.
7 of them at Christmas and the holidays. So that wine, obviously, he had Utorki, he had even the Diviner, the big
Yeah.
massive machine. So wine, champagne, sausage, prosciutto, capigollo, the tomato sauces, obviously. But a staple he used to make the tomato pizza in the pan, in a big rectangle cookie sheet, tomato and nice slices of garlic. Very
Oh,
simple,
nice.
very very simple, but so fucking good. Coming back from school, man, you smell that tomato, that garlic, the fresh dough cooked. Insane. It's incredible. And other things too is my uncle. We'll get into this with you too because I know you love this. My uncle used to be a big hunter when he used to live in
Oh
Montreal.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So we used to come home, let's say we were what, 9, 10 years old, coming home. And in the winter, November, December, for deer season, used to have the temple. And every time we walk home and we know, and the temple was closed, okay, we got something.
Oh
Open
yeah,
it up,
that's good.
you have your 2 or 3 deer hanging down the driveway. It was awesome. So on that note, Lou, talk to us a little bit. Okay, first, I know you're pro hunting, right? There's a
Yeah.
lot of I guess controversy or maybe a stigma around that. But what is your first, like, your idea behind hunting versus people that might say that they're against it, or it's animal cruelty and all that stuff? So let's get into that.
Okay, it's a very touchy topic.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: if I'm gonna get into a conversation with someone about this, and the person happens to be vegan, I'll try and not get too like intense about it, because for a vegan, it's all animals, right? So for them, it would be like a bit more understandable that they're against what a hunter does. But if you're gonna come up to me and you eat meat, and you don't really have any kind of dietary restrictions when it comes to where your protein comes from, and you're gonna tell me that going in the woods in the animal's natural habitat just to potentially shoot one, because I've been hunting for 3 years now. 3 years, I haven't even seen a deer, let alone even shoot my gun. So, for us hunters, we're going out there in the animal's environment, giving it a chance to, live its entire life normally. And maybe if we get lucky, we'll shoot one. As opposed to the person that eats meat that comes from a slaughterhouse where the animal has no chance. The animal is literally, the second it's born, its entire life is, it's injected with antibiotics, steroids, everything to make it grow up as fast as it can so that they can send it straight to the slaughterhouse where it has no chance. So the animal never lives a life. So yeah, fine. We might be shooting an animal and ending its life, but that animal has grown up naturally, eats it's 100% natural. You want to talk about organic? Forget about growing on a farm organic. This animal literally is organic 100%. What it eats is organic 100%, and it has a chance at having a full life. So
So true.
it's
You
you
nailed it,
know
man.
it is a bit cruel. It is an old way of gathering meat, but for me, I think it's one of the most natural ways of doing it.
Couldn't have said it better.
I still have to actually shoot one, but the idea behind it, is
It's so true,
for
man.
me, I'm okay with it.
I couldn't have said it better, man. You nailed it. Exactly that. Like, they're in their habitat. Like you said, they live maybe 5, 6, 7, 10 years, even more, right? The big bucks
Exactly.
that last. So yeah, I agree 1,000%. And we used to hunt. Now we don't go as much because I used to go with my uncle. He moved to the States, but deer, geese, moose. Got lucky enough to go for moose, and there's just something about just being outside, being in the wild, um, and seeing how these animals, how they live, and how it's just you're enjoying the beauty of nature, man,
Exactly.
and you're eating the freshest, the most organic meat you'll ever experience compared to the grocery store, or
Yeah.
any market out there. So um, yeah. So for you, when did you start? How did you get into hunting?
Well, my dad grew up hunting. Yeah, I mean, we used to have a country place near Lacull in Hemmingford, or
Okay.
near, not too far from the border. So he always hunted. As a child, he used to take offs when hunting season came around with his friends, and used to stay home. And again, I don't know if it is just a Picciano thing. None of us have ever shot deers, so I'm hoping to break that curse. But yeah, so he was around it. So obviously, I guess it's a natural thing to just continue on with that tradition. I got lucky enough that one of my friends has a huge piece of land in Lac Mégantic. My friend John, the
Nice.
one that you know, that you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So once he got that piece of land, he got his hunting license. He started getting all into that, and it kind of like woke that excitement up in me again. So I went, I got my license, and now we've been hunting together since I don't know, it's about 3 years now.
Awesome, man. And so, what do you guys hunt besides? So, I know you go for deer. What else do you guys go for?
Yeah, so geese and ducks, but that's not at his piece of land. That's with a guide that we pay. So
Okay.
yeah, so geese and ducks when it's about say like September, October.
Yeah.
Then deer season comes around after that, and we hunt deer on his land. So
You attempt to.
yeah, attempt. Yeah. See, we're three guys that go hunting. The other two guys have shot. I still haven't even seen one. I don't know. I'm unlucky like that, I guess.
It's gonna come, man. It's gonna come. I'm telling you, man.
Yeah, patience. It's like you said, it's not so much going there with the purpose of just shooting an animal. You're up north with your buddies. I mean, the day starts. We're waking up like at 3:30 in the morning to have breakfast so that we can be in the tree for about like 5 o'clock in the morning before the sun comes up.
Yeah.
And you spend your day in the forest. There's no cell phones. There's none of that internet. You're not connected in any way. You're literally just sitting there with the quiet of the forest. If you're lucky, there's that nice little snow that's coming down, fresh air. So it's like 3-4 days that you just completely disconnect from everything and enjoy nature. It kind of resets the clock in your head too, because you have to wake up at, I'm going to say, kind of normal hours and go to bed. You're so tired because you wake up early, you go to bed at a normal time. It's not like you're going to bed at midnight. So it really, like, it almost rejuvenates you in a sense. And then if you do get the deer, it's a whole another level of excitement. So it's fun.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. Yeah, we gotta go together, man, this year for sure.
Hey, look, at the least we're going shooting together.
Yeah.
We're gonna go do some trap shooting.
Yeah.
Hopefully this whole thing is they're gonna start allowing that, because I mean we could be socially distant from each other while shooting.
You have
exactly.
to.
So I mean, I hope they open that up soon so we can go do some of that.
Oh man, that'd be awesome. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so I'm there with you. We'll end it there. We could talk about hunting and exactly. and the pros and the cons and the activists out there. But anyway, we'll say that for another day, another discussion. So let's get to our culinary school. Okay. So I know now you're in the industry. You've been in the industry now for working. I mean, like in a restaurant for what, 4 to 5 years? About that. So I want your take on culinary school. Since now you're working in the industry, do you find that it prepared you for the real world, for the real restaurant world, the food industry? I know there's a lot of cook chefs that didn't go to culinary school that might say you don't need that shit, like it's a waste. So give me your take on that, since you're actually working now in the restaurant after.
Well, yeah, no, it's not. It's definitely one of those trades that you don't need to go to school for. So it's not a necessary thing. But the advantage you do have with going to culinary school is that a lot of the terminology you pick up, right? Because let's say like mirepoix, you're going to know what a mirepoix is because it's one of the basic vocabulary words that you need to know when you're there. How to clarify a stock, something that we kind of see as simple, but for someone that doesn't know, sorry about that.
No, it's okay.
For someone that doesn't know, it Jesus, how am I going to hang this thing up? Shut up. Sorry, man.
No, don't worry. Don't worry. He's unplugging the phone.
There we go.
Don't worry about it.
So yeah, so like there is an advantage and a disadvantage to going. Is it necessary? No. I mean, I've worked with plenty of cooks that didn't go to culinary school, and these guys can cook circles around almost anybody.
Yeah.
But there is benefits to going. Now, you have to go to ETHQ, you have to go to a school like Pius. Again, that's
Cordon Bleu.
Yeah, I think the difference with that is just the opportunities that are given to you because of the environment that you're going to. Obviously, you're paying what was like $15,000-$20,000 to go to ETHQ, something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
So obviously, at that price, there you better be getting top of the line facility. Your equipment better be top notch all the time. The opportunities that are presented with paying that much, a lot of their stages, like us, we had to find stages here in Montreal, and for them, their stage is going to Europe. But that's because of the fact that they're paying, $20,000. So again, the place you go to is not necessarily gonna choose where or what direction you as a cook can go in your career, but it does present you with certain opportunities that might be better for you depending on what you want to do.
Yeah, that's a good point, because a lot of people, they need that piece of paper, right? They want to work in hospitals, hotels.
Exactly.
So for a lot of people, it is beneficial for that in that case. In terms of, I know we got a little taste of it in culinary school. Like we had the last 2 or 3 months, we had that restaurant environment where we had, service. We had 50, 60 clients in the dining room. So that module there, compared to your day-to-day restaurant, is it similar? Is it very close? Is it completely off? Like where is that?
It's I wouldn't say it's 100% reality, just because of the fact that you're a class of like 25 students serving 60 something people, when in reality, let's say like a place like Luciano's, we're 2 cooks serving 80 something people a night. So when it comes to that, it's not real, but the way you have to prepare yourself for service, that is real. Like you have to have all your stuff, your mise en place ready to go. You have to be very well organized. Your time management, with the other people that you're working with in your group, like all that stuff there is very real, and it does somewhat prepare you more than someone who were to just get kind of thrown into the service and have to figure it out on the fly.
Yeah, man. And I remember, we had a service at Pius where we actually lost power. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. That
we
was
were
crazy.
I think we were on desserts. Yeah, we were on desserts.
Well, when it actually happened, like that fuse or whatever the hell it was blew up over our head while we were in the dish pit.
Yes.
You remember?
Yes.
We were smelling like some kind of melting plastic, and all of a sudden, just bam, those sparks all over our head, and we're like, "What the hell just happened?" I almost thought we died, man.
Yeah. Fucking true. I forgot about that when it blew.
Yeah.
So
and
it blew.
Then, we had to go on to our dessert station, and it was just us 2 because our other 2 teammates were on the hotline.
Yes.
And in the dark with
the pizza ovens.
The deck ovens, and we're using our phones as flashlights to get everything done, and we still killed it, man, with 60 something people in the dining hall.
Yeah, I remember that. We went in the dining hall. We had a standing ovation from the guests.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
That was an awesome time, man. We lost power. We're mid-service. Luckily, everything, 90% of the kitchen was gas. We had a couple electric convection ovens, but the rest was all gas. But oh man, that was awesome. That was sick. We pulled it off. That was great. Okay, so in your mind, Lou, on that topic of cook, chef, I've been asking all my guests, like, what's your definition for cook versus chef? A lot of people, I find it's used very loosely today. Chef, everyone's a chef. So what's your description?
You told me you were gonna ask me this question. I've been like trying to think of an answer since you told it to me. I think we're all cooks. That's what we do, right? We cook things. Now I know last week Joey said it was the chef is the one that creates things, and in a sense he's right, yes. But I think the major difference is just the question of leadership, like leadership and authority that a chef has, right? You don't come out of culinary school a chef. You come out of culinary school as a cook, and then you build up your skills and your discipline and your leadership skill to the point that you are put in charge and become a chef.
Yeah.
Right. You have to be able to organize your kitchen. You have to be able to lead your team in a positive way, that they work well together, that there's no arguments. All those stuff like that is always going to happen, right? A lot of people with a lot of opinions, it's going to complicate things.
Yeah.
but you have to be able to get your team to work together to get through service all the time. So it becomes more of a, I think the difference is really just, for me anyways, is my opinion, your ability to lead and manage more so than just being able to cook. Like, you're not going to be put a chef if you can't cook, but it's more than just cooking. For me.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's managing, like you said, opinions, a team, personalities, getting people to work together efficiently, get the food out on time. You're basically, it's like orchestrating a band, like an orchestra,
Yeah,
whatever it is, right?
exactly. I mean, look, for me with Luciano, he's our chef, right? For him at his restaurant, it's very simple. We're only two cooks, and me and Asia, he's my teammate, we get along very, very well. So for him, he doesn't have to really worry about us getting into arguments because we get along. Like, she's almost like a sister to me.
Yeah.
But when I was working at Industria, we weren't just two. We were like almost 12 cooks between the lunch service cooks and the night service cooks. So my buddy Peter, he had a lot on his plate to deal with 12 cooks in a kitchen, making sure that we always have our inventory that we need to be able to do our prep, dealing with schedules, depending on the size of the what?
Calling in sick.
Oh man, yeah. Calling in sick. But here's the thing, like, cooks will come in even if they feel like shit, just because it's like it's just in you to do it.
Principle.
The calling in sick was more like the dishwashers.
Yeah.
But again, much respect to dishwashers. Those guys are like the saviors of kitchens and should be a cook's best friend, because they become very, very useful when you're in the shit. So yeah.
Yeah. Speaking about that, Lou, in the shit. So it could be from any of your restaurants you worked at. One like story or memory, like being in the juice, fucking, like you don't know what the fuck to do. Like, give me a little scenario story from that.
Oh man, Industria days, those were tough. Those were tough, man. Like, I started at Industria while we were doing our fish module, right?
Oh.
So my buddy Peter, he was the chef de cuisine at the Griffintown location, and they were just about to open up the one in Galerie d'Anjou. So he saw that I was posting stuff on Instagram, and he told me, he's like, listen, I know I'm looking for cooks right now. I know you're in culinary school, so if you want to get a foot into the door and start working and start to see what it's like, I'd be more than happy to hire you, and you work on weekends part time. So at the time, I don't know if you remember what we used to go through at cooking. So I mean, you were working at the bank during the day and then coming to school at night.
Yeah.
For me too, I had my job during the day.
Yes.
And I was going to school at night, and then I even decided to work on weekends at Industria. It was crazy, but it was good. It was a very good experience. Anyway, so starting there, I mean, I was just doing prep at the beginning. There was the prep kitchen. I would cut and portion frozen calamari, portion pasta for the pasta cook, slice prosciutto for the pizza guy. I was doing all the bitch work. But again, that's normal, right? You're just starting. Expect to do the bitch work. You're everyone's bitch at the beginning. So, anyways, obviously, I built up my way, and really, really quickly after we finished, I was put as chef de partie of the garde manger. So
explain exactly that duty.
Yeah. So chef de partie, basically, you're in charge of a particular station. So in my case, I was in charge of all the appetizers. So because the way or the size of the menu at Industria, we were three cooks in the garde manger. So we had one guy that prepared certain salads and tartars, another guy that prepared all the fried stuff or the warm stuff. So calamari, the French fries, the arancini, all that stuff. And then there was the chef de partie that was in the middle that prepared some salads, helped the guy doing the tartars and helped the guy doing the fryer. But at the same time, I had the responsibility of managing the tickets, so all the bills. So, this is like a 300-person restaurant, and I'm just kind of thrown into it. Peter comes and sees me. He's like, "Hey, Lou, you're calling the tickets today." And I don't know if you remember how nervous we used to get, right? Yeah. It was even more so now that I was working at this place and I'm being put in charge of things. And then to top it all off, The guy on the fryer was a dishwasher, that it was his first day on the fryer too. So Peter's like, okay, well, you got to manage the bills, the tickets, and you got to make sure everything he's putting out is okay.
Wow.
You talk about in the shit, man. Oh my God. Then Saturday night, classic story. Full dining room, and then we have another 100 people upstairs on the second floor with a fixed menu.
Oh.
And one of their choices of appetizers is calamari. So
The
now,
dishwasher's first day.
oh my God, Steve, I lost complete control. I had no idea what ticket I was on. I had nothing. I didn't even know I was in the restaurant anymore. Okay? And it just so happened that night there, Peter was calling the pass for all the main dishes, and Sergio, the executive chef, was making sure all the appetizers were coming out.
Oh.
So doesn't he lose his shit on us, or on me, right? Because I'm the one,
Yeah.
in charge of that section. He comes around the pass, grabs all my bills, throws them out into the air, and just pushes us out of the way and starts doing everything by himself, just enough to get us out of shit, so that I can pick up all the bills off the floor, find myself again, and continue service.
No
It
way.
was, it was one of the most iconic and memorable moments of my career that I literally, I had no idea what happened. And then, Peter pulls me aside afterwards and he's like, Salou, what happened? I looked at him straight in the face. I'm like, Peter, I have no fucking clue. I lost it. He's like, okay, good. It happened. That's never going to happen again. And then he just ended it there, walked away, and he was right. It never happened again after.
Holy shit, man.
While I was in that section. Because then once he put me on the pasta, it happened again. But in all fairness, you're learning a whole new section, so you're gonna end up getting screwed over like that again. So.
Yeah, man. But so Lou, what was when the fucking bills hit the floor? Like, I want to be there with you. What was your mindset? Like, do I walk out of here? Do I stay? What was your head at?
No, you can't ever have that idea of walking out. That's one thing. Like, I tried doing that once, not walk out in service, but like before service. I wasn't feeling too good, so I went to see Peter and Sergio, and I'm like, guys, my head's not in it tonight. Can someone else call the bills? Both of them looked at me and they're like, no, you're calling the bills. And you know what? I'm glad they did that, because you can't allow yourself to be intimidated by it. The intimidation is a sign of, I guess, immaturity when it comes to working in a kitchen. You can't be scared of it. You have to just embrace it. It's gonna happen that mistakes are gonna come up. Someone's gonna screw something up. Something's gonna go wrong. That's kitchen work. That's all food work. But in the restaurants, it happens a lot more than I think other places. But you just gotta. How was it that Chef Sestino said it? You have to adapt. You always have to be adapting as a cook. Yeah. Well, that couldn't have been more true when like these moments happen to me, and I apply what he told us every day that I go to work. Just adapt to the environment, adapt to your equipment, adapt to the mistakes and the problems, and just figure it out and get those dishes out hot and get those dishes out nice.
Yeah, man, that's crazy. I'm just trying to picture that scenario, man, and it's very easy, I think, for people in that situation to say, you know what, fuck this, I'm done. They take it personally and they just fuck it, see you later. But I think, first of all, the reason why I think Peter and the management put you in that position is because they saw that leadership skill in you, and they said, you know what, fuck it, we're putting him in. You thought, like, I'm not fucking ready for this at all. Like, you thought you're gonna have like a training, you're gonna start reading a fucking book and learning the process. But they saw once you're gonna be in it, you're gonna adapt, like you said, and you're gonna learn. And I'm sure these guys, like anybody in the restaurant, make those same mistakes, and that's the only way you're gonna get better. That's the only way to learn, is getting that feeling, that fucking shit feeling, like, what the fuck? I never want to feel this way again. It's never gonna fucking happen. I'm gonna make sure it never happens. So that's the best way to learn, man. Is
it's that couldn't be more true. Like, you even while I was still there was, like, plenty of cooks that came and went, and a lot of these people, just even the first and only shift that some of them worked, you can tell right away if they were gonna make it or not. Like, I remember one time there was a guy, it was a young kid, again, just coming in to do prep. He was portioning pasta for me. He turns around to me and he asks me what time we get to take a break. So I started laughing, and Peter kind of noticed me laughing, and he's like, "What do you say?" I'm like, "He asked us when we get a break. You told the guy to leave right away."
For real?
Yeah, he's like, "Okay, goodbye. Just
Take
go
it,
home.
take it,
Don't
take a
invite me."
break. Take a break now. Don't ever come
It's
back.
like you just see who has it and who doesn't with people's attitudes when they walk into these kitchens. So it's yeah, it's
You know
definitely
what
what
it
you
is,
said.
Lou? But you know what it is? It's right now, I think the food industry, cooking, chefs, cooks has never, the spotlight never has never been this big, right? On TV, social media.
Yeah,
So I think a lot of people or young kids that are looking at this and seeing this online or on TV, to them it looks easy, right? It looks very
yeah,
easy. They see the final product, it looks beautiful. They look at maybe the recognition that these cooks and chefs are getting. Wow, these guys are they're celebrities, are doing well. But you don't see the hours and hours and sweat and tears and everything that goes into a fucking putting a meal together, working in a restaurant,
exactly.
right?
Yeah.
So, what would be your advice to somebody, let's say out of high school or like myself, 25, 26 years old, still not sure what I want to do? Like, fuck it, let me go to culinary school. So, what advice would you give someone considering getting into the food industry?
If the idea comes into your head, try it out. You have to, like, even like we did. I mean, neither of us knew if well, okay, I mean, you had you had an idea of what you wanted to get out of culinary school when you were there, right? You knew right away. I even remember the first class when Chef Richard went around and asked us why we were all here.
Uh,
That was the first thing you said back then, is that you wanted to do your own catering company and work for yourself and then make a business and a life out of that.
yeah.
uh I didn't know that. For me, it was really, I just wanted to go there to learn, to get the idea out of my head. So if I liked it, I liked it. If I didn't, I would, find something else. I loved it. It became a drug. But yeah, no, if at any point someone out of high school or someone in our situation, the idea of cooking comes into your head, explore it, because it's the only way you're going to know. And it won't take long to figure it out. I mean, if you go to culinary school, you'll have to go through a couple of services. But if you, like, I mean, you said last week with Joey, if you go even just volunteer at a restaurant just to see what it's like, you'll get a very, very, very quick idea if the industry is for you. Definitely. So 100%, if it's in your head, try it out. You won't regret it.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
And like I don't, like you said, we you weren't sure yet what you wanted to do with it. I mentioned catering and doing all that, um, but someone that would want to do it, I don't know, someone that wants to start up doing on social media recipes or write a, I don't know, a cookbook. Like, would you recommend, like, what route would you recommend for this person? Like someone that just wants to do like a social media or type of
They
marketing, like.
they don't necessarily have to go to cooking school. I mean, you can do, it's all on how creative you are when it comes to posting stuff on social media, right? I don't happen to be really in. I tried doing it. I don't have it in me to be that creative to post stuff. It's not to say I don't make things that are picture worthy or video worthy, but it there's a lot more involved with what you do creating content and posting it. So I wouldn't say that someone that wants to do that with food necessarily has to go to culinary school. You just have to make sure that what you're saying is correct. Like, have to educate yourself and inform yourself by whatever means, books, internet, other videos, that what you're explaining or what you're doing with a particular recipe is true and is valid. Like, is not something false, because then you'll end up sounding more like an idiot than anything, and that's not something you want to do.
Yeah, man. You nailed it exactly. You lose credibility right off the bat.
Yeah.
There's other people watching. There's not only home cooks, but like professional chefs, cooks that watch you. Like, okay, right away they see some BS that you're putting up, and you lose
Yeah, no,
credibility. Right?
you
You don't
you
want to.
can't do that. That's the thing. You have to be correct with what you're saying. And the last thing you want is to open up your comment section and see that people are ripping you apart because what you're saying makes no sense. I mean, that could not be more degrading and
Yeah,
more deteriorating for your credibility online.
yeah. I know for you on the topic of culinary school, like what was I don't know, your favorite moment looking back?
Honestly,
for
working with our team,
yeah.
that was the best team three, right?
Youssef. I forgot about Youssef.
Exactly. Amari Cuisine.
Mary Cuisine.
Uh,
A little shout
no,
out
man,
to a little shout out to Mary Cuisine. Youssef.
you got to
He's
get him
currently
on here, man.
yeah, man. I gotta get him on. He's currently working at Société Traiteur, I think, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, they do great stuff, man. Uh, you know, private corporate events, weddings, whatever it is. Great. They have a great team. Even Chris Cristiano, if you know Chris Cristiano as well.
No, I don't know him
Part of that
personally.
team, but
Well,
it's a great group of guys.
Peter's working there too.
Oh, he's there too?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
So yeah, no, I mean, at culinary school, I think the greatest takeaway was the friendships that were created there.
Yeah.
I mean, you're with these people. Like we were together more than our own families because six hours a night, 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We're together in close quarters, cooking together, working together. So that I think was by far one of the best things. And
Yeah.
I mean, look, we still keep in touch
Yeah.
very regularly. So that's one of the greatest takeaways, I think.
Yeah, man, we're creating side by side when we're in the fucking juice, and even though it's culinary school, we still had those moments where we're fucking scrambling a little bit, and when you have each other's backs, I think that speaks volumes, and that's what builds these meaningful like relationships, like
Yeah, 100%
for life.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's huge. In terms of, I don't know, in terms of local markets, Lou, for you.
Yeah.
So during this tough time of quarantine, social distancing, a lot of local markets, so maybe local restaurants are taking massive blows. Some might not be able to recover. So I've been trying to spread some awareness in terms of supporting local, how important it is versus big box stores, retailers, to stay away from those guys and go to your local stores, local markets. So who have you been supporting, or who have you been going to in these times?
I try to go wherever I can get the best price. Obviously, I mean, I'm a cook. I don't make fortunes doing what I do. I do it because I love doing this. So I try my hardest to keep things local. So I mean, places like United for fish or Entrepôt de la Viande for meat. I love Meran.
Yeah.
That's like my go-to place. Now, does all that stuff come locally? No, but I mean, the store itself is, I guess, local in a sense. So I go there a lot. That's one of my go-to places. But I don't go too far out of the way. Like, especially now, I'm not gonna go all the way to the Jean Talon market and go shopping there. Last summer, when things weren't so chaotic, that was like a go-to place, even just to walk around, just because it's so nice to see.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, definitely as staples for meat, Entrepôt de la Viande, for fish, groceries, fruits and vegetables, go to United. That's pretty much it.
Awesome. And what have you been cooking? What are your quarantine dishes? Let's say, what have you been really pumping out at home?
Bread has been driving me crazy. I actually have, I don't know if you heard the timer go off on my phone there. I have olive bread, like being ready to, being folded. I have to go fold it. But yeah, no, I've been trying to really master shaping nice loaves, like these nice sourdough loaves that you see on Instagram. That's what I've been trying to master, and it's been driving me crazy.
Yeah, it's tough.
So that's definitely one of the things that I've been trying to do the most. But other than that, I mean, whatever I have in the fridge, I'll try and throw something together. That's the fun part of cooking. Open up the fridge and you can create something out of nothing.
Yeah.
So whatever's around.
Well, give me an example, Luke. I want to hear an example, like exactly that. You open the fridge and you made something out of nothing there.
To try and throw together a nice quick piri sauce for some chicken thighs or whatever. I mean, you open up the fridge, you got some bell peppers hanging around, you have some onions in the pantry, grill those up, blend them together, add a bit of lemon juice, a bit of olive oil, you got yourself a nice little piri sauce. Make it a bit spicy if you want, with some Thai chilies or some dried peppers, whatever you have.
That easy.
Marinate that chicken, man. Throw it on the grill, and you got some, scratch meat.
I love how easy it is. Like this, people watching this are scrambling for a pen.
Hey, look, but it's that simple. Like, don't overcomplicate things. Just learn. I think one of the skills that we have is developing flavors, right? Knowing that, I can take this, let's say this bell pepper, and just blend it in a blender with a bit of liquid just to get it moving. and it'll be one flavor. But I can take that pepper, roast it, and it's a whole new. It's the same pepper, but it's a whole new flavor.
Yeah.
Right. So that's one of our skills. So I guess, yeah, opening up a fridge and then just saying things fly together like that is something that for us is normal, but for other people probably isn't.
Yeah, man. Like, yesterday, I opened the fridge. I had 2 zucchini. I started off just grilling them. I grilled them on the barbecue, and then I brought them in. And I had lobster last night. My wife is not a big fan of lobster. Right, fine. So I had roasted potatoes also on the barbecue. Brought those in. And I'm like, but she's gonna have grilled zucchini and potatoes. I go, no, it can't happen. Open the fridge. I had some tomato sauce that I made a couple days ago, and I had ricotta spinach filling left over from cannellonis that I made.
Okay.
Took the grilled zucchini, put the stuffing, rolled it up, put the sauce in a tray, put the rolled zucchini with ricotta spinach, sauce, parmigiano, mozzarella, breadcrumbs, olive oil in the oven.
Yeah, see, delicious.
They were insane, man. Insane. I almost like them. I like them more than with pasta. Almost, it's crazy.
You see, it's nuts, man. It's nuts.
Yeah, and that feel. That's why I think we cook, is for that feeling. For that, there's endless possibilities in food.
Yeah.
So many different combinations, like you said, building flavor profiles. I get goosebumps. I get goosebumps thinking about it, man. I salivate.
Speaking of flavor profiles, what's your go-to, like if you're really craving something to eat, not that you're necessarily gonna make, but like if you had to go to a restaurant, you're craving something, like what's your go-to I guess style of cuisine? Like, are you gonna go look for something Asian? You're gonna go look for Greek? You're gonna go look for Lebanese?
Oof.
What like if you had to say, like right now, I want something different that's not Italian and that I can't prepare normally, what's your go-to thing?
I have to say, man, like pad thai. I don't know, pad thai.
Yeah, you like it, huh? That's good.
I love pad thai. I could
For
have
me,
that.
it's Indian, man.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, that stuff there,
Yeah.
it's just so different. That's the thing. Like in Italian cuisine, there's a lot of different things, but the flavor profile is always very similar. There's always that tomato sauce. There's always some kind of herb like basil. It's very like it's very familiar to us. So it's not something that, like, it's comforting, but when you want something different, man, you gotta go get those spices. And I'm sorry, when it comes to spices, the Indians,
down packed.
They got it down, man. That stuff's amazing. And not even meat. It doesn't even have to be meat. All their vegetarian dishes are like a million times better than the meat dishes. So it's crazy.
What would be one dish that you would recommend someone trying? If someone hasn't ever experienced Indian food, like what would you recommend them?
Okay, I'm for sure not gonna pronounce this right. It's called, I think, Began Barta. It's like roasted, their fire roasted eggplant. It's an eggplant curry, but I definitely didn't pronounce it right.
Is it similar to like a baba ganoush?
Yeah, just like heavily spiced with their blend of spices. But yeah, no, that thing, it looks the same. Yeah, it's like it's creamy. It's spicy without like burning the hell out of your mouth. Put that with a nice piece of freaking naan bread, man. You can eat that for hours.
And where do you have a spot that you go to? What's your spot?
I've only really ever been to Maison Indian Curry on Jean Talon and Park X. Okay. So if you definitely want to try Indian, that's a good place to go because it's really good. But I haven't been anywhere else, so I can't really say. But that's definitely a place that my girlfriend and
I think if you find your spot, and especially in Park X, I think it's the hub. Is it like a little? Describe the place. Small little shop, like a mom and pop shop.
It's a corner thing. I think I'm pretty sure it's family run. It's like the daughters are the waitresses. You got the mom and dad that stay by the cash register in the back, and I don't know who's in the kitchen, but I'm pretty sure it's family friends of theirs, or probably some family too. And like the decor is nothing special, very simple. But what I find cool is their plates, their dishes. It's all like metal goblets. Like it really it feels like all this stuff was brought in from India with them, and they're serving you their food on it, and it's really, really, really good.
What's the name again, Lou? So I can put them in the.
It's called Maison Indian Curry.
Maison Indian Curry. I'm gonna check these guys out, man.
Yeah.
Do you have takeout? Are you doing Uber Eats?
I don't know. I didn't really look into
I
it.
gotta
I've
check it out.
tried to. Yeah, it's honestly it's really good.
Yeah, man.
Definitely got to try that dish I said, the vegan barta or however
Yeah,
it's said.
yeah.
That thing there is magic.
Oh my god.
So I have a
Yeah,
question for you.
yeah.
Um, so we went to culinary school. Obviously, we got to work with a lot of different equipment and different tools and stuff. What's your favorite kitchen tool?
Mandolin.
Oh, I was gonna say the same thing. That thing there, that little Japanese mandolin, makes quick work of anything.
I love it, man.
That thing
Oh,
is
the other
so
day
good.
I was making potato chips.
Okay.
And you can use it for anything. You just slice them thin, super thin, that they're transparent, and throw them in water. If you could let them sit overnight, even better. A lot of that extra starch comes out to get it crispier. And I've been throwing them on pizza with some caramelized onions, smoked catch,
Small
obviously.
catch, yeah.
Throw them in the oven on a what's it called, on a cooling rack on top of your cookie sheet, and they become chips, baked chips, basically. Instead of frying them, if you want a healthier alternative, you could do that with beets, sweet potato, any kind of root vegetable you have. Awesome. But yeah, mandolin, hands down. Another tool that's underrated is a rubber spatula, I think.
Oh man, yeah. That's another story that I can bring up about Industria. Like this place is huge, right? So your mise en place is endless, and especially when I was in the garde manger, you have all your vinaigrettes, you have your different flavored mayos and stuff like that. So in the fridges underneath you have your main section with all your inserts that has all your mise en place, and then underneath you have all your backups for everything
Yeah,
that's in the inserts, right? And then you have all your squeeze bottles with all these sauces I just thought I spoke about. So you also have the liter containers that are the refill when
of
you run
that
out, right?
sauce. Yeah,
Having one of those spatulas hidden in the back of your fridge in the insert will save you such a headache when your chef sees inside your like dish pit container. He sees those liter containers of, let's say, like spicy mayo that are not properly like emptied out. That guy will rip you apart for stuff like that. And I did it, and you know what? I ended up doing it too. I saw a guy who just kept like throwing them to the side. I'm like, what are you doing, man? Like, grab that. You have it right there. Grab the spatula, scoop the shit out of that thing, make it look clean so that I can put it back on the rack. I don't even have to give it back to the dishwasher.
yeah. That's because that'll go on another 2 or 3 dishes, man. Right there.
Exactly.
That's money. It's money. And that's one thing I remember. One of the chefs at our school. I got to give her this. Okay. Anyway, we're not going to go into too much detail.
Exactly what you're talking about.
That's a lot to say. But the good thing about culinary school, that's another point I want to bring up, is that because you have 4 to 5 different teachers, chefs that have been in the industry for 20, 30 over years, right? You get to pick their brains and get, different ideas from each of them. And one thing that this chef said is that's going to be the biggest, money saver if you're going to run a business, is that spatula. How many times you're making a sauce, a batter, anything, take that extra time to scoop it out, and you'll get an extra 2 or 3 portions like that, right?
100%. And I mean, it's like you said, everybody had little things, little tidbits of information to give us that were very, very useful. And that from that teacher there, that was one of the things that we learned that was amazing.
Yeah, and I got to say, if you have to have that character, that I think that mindset going into it, like anything in education, is you got to be a sponge. You got to absorb like a sponge, listen. There's a lot of you saw it in school. A lot of characters that, after a month, they think they're they're chefs.
Oh yeah, definitely.
We saw that, right? So
yeah.
I think if you have the temperament that you're patient and you're a very good listener, not only listen but actually learn and use what you learned and apply it to your work, you're going to do very, very well, especially in culinary school.
Yeah, 100%.
And sometimes, like you said, whether you're working, whether you're in school, you might eat shit from your instructor or teacher, but that's just to prepare you for the real world. I think you'll never be fully prepared for it. In your case, you weren't prepared, but look where you are now. you can look back, you fucking remember that feeling. You're never gonna want that feeling again. So you need to go through that shit to keep getting better and better. And
remember how many times Chef Derek would just like randomly go off on us and then turn around and start laughing because he knew that it didn't make sense what he was saying. He just felt like screaming at that particular moment to, you know, get us a bit nervous, to put us on our toes a bit. But
man.
you know, even like you said, stuff like that prepared you for the shit, you know, the shit you were gonna get once you went out, you know, into the industry and had to work by yourself and not in a sheltered environment like culinary school.
Yeah, man. Yeah. For me, listen, it's different because I've never worked in a restaurant. You know, I never, because myself, I think, you know, working corporate, working at the bank, other companies, I realized that I don't know. I want to work for myself. I can't be bothered working for someone else. I want to have my own influence. You know, I think over the years, I don't regret anything that I've done. Like I've learned so many skills in different places. So I haven't experienced the same, you know, in the maybe, you know, taking shit or getting that feeling from other from your boss or chef, executive chef. But I have been in the juice, you know, working out of a home kitchen. You don't have all the tools or the space that you want to have when you're doing 30, 40 people or 50, sometimes 50 people. So that feeling, I think you need to get it and then learn from it and say, okay, how do I get better, more prepared, get my mise en place on point, take an extra day or two to organize it better. So you go through it, I think, in any aspect, not only in food, but any job, any business that you're trying to run.
Did you ever consider trying it out? Like maybe not now, because now you got this whole you know, Instagram podcast thing going on too. But like before, when we were in culinary school, did you ever like actually consider going into the restaurants?
Yes, I did. At the beginning, I thought of it. But then when we did our module towards the end, when we were actually in service and we're line cooks essentially, I want to have a bit of a balance. So I spoke to a family when I went to Italy. I did a quick stage in Italy. My cousin was a chef for 25, 30 years at a restaurant in Rome. Okay. So I had a good chat with her, you know, and she gave me her insight on the business. And luckily her husband was the head waiter of the same restaurant. So I think when you have someone in your life that understands and works that same kind of, they have the same lifestyle in the food industry as you, I think it's easier. But for myself, I want to have, you know, the weekends would eventually, if I have kids, with my kids, I want to do activities with them. I want to have a life outside of food. So I want to choose a way where I could maybe control a bit more my schedule, have that flexibility, and do it on my terms, not do it on somebody else's terms. Like, you got to be here. You got to be here from, no, I don't care, 8 a.m. till midnight, whatever it is. Do your 12, 15-hour shifts. I'd rather do it on my terms. Work my 15 hours for myself. You know, it's not easy for sure, but I think I can handle it. And if I do grow, and if I want to open my own little spot, that could be for sure an opportunity. I'll never rule that out. You know, it's something that I love and I'm passionate about, but it has to make sense on my personal life as well. So I'm still trying to find that balance and see what works for me.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And Lou, for you, are you now you're at Luciano? Are you looking, not now obviously, but like down the line? What's your dream for, you know? What dream do you have envisioned?
Well, it's definitely to work for myself at some point, you know, to be in charge. Now, I don't know if that means restaurant or, I don't know, catering service or personal chef or whatever, but it definitely is always going to be around food. That's what I've decided life is going to be. But like you said, it's, you know, I know that this industry plays a very, very, or, you know, a big part or has a big impact on family life. And that's not something I'm necessarily ready to how can I say this, to jeopardize
Yeah.
for a restaurant or something like that. So yeah, it would be nice to find a way to be able to do kind of like not a 9 to 5, because that's not enough time when it comes to this line of work, but something that's done during the day where, when it comes late afternoon, you lock the door, you go home, and the family's there waiting. That would be the ideal thing. But again, like you said, try and figure it out as you go, and eventually it'll come a time that the right opportunity is going to present itself, and have to make sure that you grab it.
That's so well said, man. Exactly that. Keep going. You keep working in your passion, and you'll see as you go, you'll get these ideas that'll pop up. One day, it could be while you're working at the restaurant. It could be while you're at home, while you're with family, like, or you go visit another place and you're like, oh shit, okay, you know what? This could actually work. And you just got to keep your mind open to ideas and not just,
Exactly.
I was never a fan of, okay, you got to know what you want out of high school. You got to know what you want going into university or whatever avenue, whatever trade you want to go to. That's bullshit. That's complete bullshit. I think we're not programmed that way as humans. As humans, we're very creative. We have to experiment with different things. So by doing, less contemplating, I should do this, I should try this, I should wait. I contemplated, I think, for 2.5 years going to culinary school,
Right.
So looking back, I might have wanted to speed that up a bit. But again, no regrets. I'm happy I jumped into it. It wasn't the easiest thing, working full time and going to school at night, almost 60, close to 70 hours sometimes a week. You know exactly what it is. You do work in an industry towards the end. So you're doing close to 80 hours a week, man.
During stage, it was 90 hours a week and only getting paid for 25.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was, no, definitely you can't, especially at the beginning, you can't look at the money, because if that's the thing that's going to motivate you to work, might not be the thing for you.
Honestly, the way I see it is, fuck the money. Obviously, you want to pay your expenses. You want to put a roof over your head. You want to feed the family. Obviously, you need money, but it should never be the focal point of your decision.
No.
I've changed that in the last couple of years just to happiness. I just want to be fucking happy. Simple. That's it. What brings me the biggest amount of joy? Because at the end of the day, our lives could change like this. You could get sick. Some of your loved ones could, unfortunately pass away, or you could fucking die, tomorrow. You don't know, get hit by a fucking bus, get the fucking virus, whatever it is. You don't know. So I think just being in the moment, enjoying the process, set yourself, if you want a goal or a target, a dream that you have, and just plan according to get there, and be patient. Be fucking patient. That's one thing I'm learning too. Sometimes I get a bit too excited, whether it's something that you want to post out, or you want to cook something, or you want to make something, but you got to just take a step back and say, okay,
waiting for your bread to rise properly.
Yeah, or fucking wait for it to completely cool down for 2 hours before you bite into it. That's fucking
Patience
torture.
Is key.
So yeah, fuck the money. It's gonna come. If you do something that you love, you're passionate about, and people see it, they're gonna support you. The money is gonna come, exactly. And you'll be happy, and you'll be making that coin. So I think you're gonna have to just find that middle ground, and just take a chance, and don't conform. Don't get too comfortable.
No, definitely not. Yeah. You can't ever at any point feel like you have everything under control. Like that's another thing about the whole, food industry. You're always on a fine line of having everything under control and completely losing your shit. And that's when the greatest accomplishments are done, because you're on your toes, you're working hard, you're working fast, you're making decisions on the fly that are to your benefit, rather than, being complacent and overthinking a certain decision. So yeah, that's so definitely true. It, man.
Yeah, man. That line is very, very fine from fucking complete chaos.
It doesn't take much.
Awesome, man. All right, before we wrap this up, we already covered most of the stuff, in terms of giving advice to someone that wants to jump in. But in your mind, any closing thoughts you want to share with anyone watching this, listening to this, whether it's food, whether it's career, whether anything that you want to share to maybe inspire someone to go after what they want to do.
Okay, so the piece of advice, or the one little piece of information that I have, is that for someone on the outside, someone that's not in the restaurant or the food industry, to be able to understand what it is we do is very hard. But for someone that is on the inside, someone that wants to or is considering coming into this industry, you will at some point touch someone with your food. That you're gonna make them experience with a single bite an emotional connection that made a memory that they had with their wife or their girlfriend, or something from their childhood. You're gonna take them back. You're gonna make them time travel to another moment, and when you get to see that look on their face, it makes everything worth it. It makes any sacrifice that you've done in terms of your family life or your personal time, or your that any cut or any burn that you've experienced, it's all going to become worth it when you see the look on that person's face. I got to experience that at Luciano's over the winter with a man that had a bite of the raviolis that I normally make. He literally started crying because it reminded him of when he was a kid, the raviolis his grandmother used to make him, and everything just became worth it. All the time at Pius, all the time on stage, the 90-hour weeks and only getting 25 hours of pay, like everything in that one moment became worth it. And it made me fall in love with what it is we do all over again. And that was a very, very rewarding thing. So, that's one thing. If you're in this industry, you're going to find that moment, and that will be a magical thing for you.
Wow. That's so true. I'm not even going to elaborate.
Let me tell you,
that was
bring
perfect.
a little tear to your eye, man.
Yeah, man. I got chills. Seriously, just thinking about what that guy went through when he had that ravioli, man.
Yeah, that was something special.
I couldn't have said it better. That's exactly, I think, why cooks or chefs do what they do, is for that exact feeling. Recreating that. It's one of the greatest joys, man, of life is food. There's endless possibilities, not only in terms of flavors and creations, but it brings people together. So that's why I do it. That's why I do it. I think that's why you do it. You just said it. So that's fucking awesome. That's great. Lou, I want to thank you again for taking the time. This was awesome.
Hey, man. It was a pleasure being here.
Thank you for joining. And there's definitely more episodes to come with us together, man. If you can try to get maybe Youssef on the next one. Team 3.
Oh, yeah. There you go, huh?
I want to thank everybody for watching, for listening. And there you go, guys. We'll wrap up another episode of Knifed Up. Thank you guys again. Thank you, Lou. We'll talk soon, okay, bud?
Thanks, man. Take care.
Peace. Ciao, man.
Ciao.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure to hit the like and subscribe button right here to stay up to date with the Knifed Up podcast. Thanks for your support. Until next time. See ya.